Hi guys, welcome back to this week's Creating the Crafty Life's Creative Weekly Wisdom. And this week I am going to show you how I made some laminated and sturdy reusable grid papers for my MISTI using the MISTI paper because I don't know about you guys, but I use my papers a lot. And although they're not very expensive, you know, it's just, you go through them so fast. And see, this one I have like stamped a lot, and then I just feel guilty about getting rid of it. So what I created was just a laminated one. Now, a couple of things I do. So I use the laminator. It's a hot laminator. You could do this definitely with your cold lamination papers, the lamination pockets. That's definitely an option for you. I just happen to have the hot laminator. And then I used a piece of cardstock, one of the hot lamination pockets, and one of the new and unstamped MISTI pages. Now, you can go through and you can just laminate one of these, but I found that it was a little flimsy, and because the paper is a little thin, I did find that it just was a little wavy just because the paper was so thin. So I grabbed also some spray adhesive. I know I use spray adhesive a lot when I do stuff like this, but I just found that it gives you, it's much smoother, and there isn't any like warping, and you don't see any of those glue lines where that you can sometimes get with the wet glue. And then I found that your double-sided adhesive, it kind of did the same thing. And because it is, well, with this one, because it's the heat activated, I found that it kind of acted a little funny with this, and it kind of squished the glue out a little bit. So there was like stickiness around the edges, and I didn't like that. So there's that. So simply one of the new MISTI papers, a sheet, and I'm using 110-pound cardstock, and then a lamination pouch and spray adhesive. So let's get into it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spray the back of this with my spray adhesive, and then we're going to just put it on some 110-pound cardstock. Do this in a well-ventilated area, and I'm just going to do this over my garbage can. All right. When you are spraying, be careful to not spray too much because it is still wet, and so it can make your paper a little bit wet. Now, what I'm going to do is I have my 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and I left it full. Now, you could cut it down so they match up, but I left it full size so that I can, I have a little bit more wiggle room on it. Okay. So we're going to go ahead, and so that I don't have to do quite as much cutting, I'm going to put this down, and it's not perfect, but I'm okay with that. Okay, you can use a brayer if you want to really put it down. I've got a little bit of stick on my hands. And now we're going to kind of cut off the excess of this. Okay, and it's literally just a little sliver of it. Most people wouldn't care about that. I don't know that matters that much to me. I'm going to line this up in my trimmer and just cut that off. And I have this left over. And then let's go ahead and see if we can get this cut off. I don't want to cut off too much because it is the perfect size for my MISTI. So, okay. All right. So I did end up cutting a little bit of that off. Just the tiniest little sliver. Again, not the end of the world. Okay. So now that I have that part done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this into the lamination. Okay. And it doesn't matter how you do this. I'm going to put in there. Now this isn't going to fit like perfect like these pages are, because you do have to leave a little bit on the outside edges as you're going along and you're cutting this down, because otherwise the lamination will just peel off, and as you're cleaning it, it just won't be as clean. So I push this up into this into the pocket as much as possible. My laminator is already ready, so let's go ahead and feed this through. And I always forget, so let's go ahead and okay. All right. Now I have that done. I'm going to bring my trimmer back over because I do want to trim down these edges. Now, remember, as you guys are working with lamination, you do have to be aware that there's a little bit around the edge that you can't cut into. Again, like I was just mentioning, otherwise you lose the seal. And so just be aware of that as you're cutting. I'm just going to cut a little bit off. So it's just a little bit bigger. You guys can see that? It's just a little bit bigger than the actual piece itself. You can kind of see right there with the glare. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead, trim off these edges as well, just the sides. Okay. All right, now let's bring over my incredibly messy MISTI, and I still have some pages, but as you guys can see, I definitely use both sides of this. So before I decided, or thought about this, so it fits in just like that. Okay. Now some of you guys may not like that. You can trim this down a little bit because, like I said, it fits there. But by trimming it down just a little bit more, you do save that space. However, you run the risk of kind of unlaminating it. So but as you can see, it now fits perfectly in there, and it's there. So if I'm going through and I'm stamping something and I happen to have, let's just pull this stamp out. I just happen to have this Unity stamp right here. I haven't used it yet, so let's do a little stamping. So it's a red rubber, so I'm going to take out that base, and we're going to, let's just stamp on this piece right here. And your magnets work, like, where did I put my, that goes my elbow. Magnets work just the same. Pick it up, and let's get some ink right there. Oops. Okay. Stamp it down. Okay. And then if I'm not sure about placement about something, there we go. And if I don't like it, don't want it anymore, I just have to wipe it away. just like that. So it wipes away, because it's just a slick surface. So there you go. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me for this week's Creating the Crafty Life's Creative Weekly Wisdom. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like this tip or trick for your Misty, let me know. But have a great rest of your day, guys. Bye.